Some people are born into storms, others into sunshine, but every one of us faces battles we never asked for. The question is not whether life will hurt you. The question is whether you will rise from the pain and claim your power. Life has a way of testing us, sometimes in ways that feel unfair, cruel, or impossible. We experience setbacks, betrayals, losses, and heartbreaks that leave us questioning our worth. In those moments, it is easy to see ourselves as victims, powerless, and trapped by circumstances. But there is a choice that changes everything, the choice to stop seeing yourself as broken, to stop giving your power away, and to step into your strength. From victim to warrior is not just a transformation, it is a declaration. It is saying, I will not let pain define me. I will define myself by my courage. Today, I am here to remind you that the warrior in you is waiting, ready to conquer what the victim in you thought was permanent. Own your story. Don't let it own you. Every journey begins with acknowledgement. To step out of victimhood, you must first confront the reality of your life, the moments that hurt you, the decisions that failed you, the people who left scars. Owning your story is not about justifying the pain or ignoring it. It is about facing it head on and saying, this is my life, and I refuse to let it define me. When you hold your story in your hands, you begin to see it not as a chain, but as a roadmap. Every experience, a step that has led you to where you stand today. It is in that recognition that power begins to emerge, not from ignoring the past, but from embracing it fully. The victim in you wants to hide, to blame, to pretend that life has been unfair. And in that hiding, it grows stronger. But the warrior knows that truth is the soil from which courage blossoms. By confronting your story, you reclaim the authority over your narrative. You begin to realize that no one else can write your life but you. The betrayals, failures, and heartbreaks are not permanent tattoos. They are lessons etched deep within your soul, waiting to guide you towards strength. With every truth you face, you are no longer a passive participant, but the author of your own triumphs. Owning your story is also about releasing the weight of comparison and societal expectation. It is about realizing that your path does not need validation from anyone else. When you accept your story, your victories, and your struggles, you dismantle the power others may have tried to hold over you. You begin to speak your truth unapologetically and to walk in a freedom that the victim in you could only dream of. The power lies not in erasing the past, but in using it as a compass, directing you toward choices that reflect your resilience and courage. Finally, when you embrace your story fully, you discover the extraordinary in your ordinary moments. Every scar becomes a symbol of survival. Every failure a lesson in patience. Every heartbreak a reminder of your capacity to love and endure. The journey from victim to warrior begins with ownership, with refusing to let your past script your present, and with choosing to rise above every circumstance. Owning your story is not an act of pride, but an act of liberation, an invitation to step into the life you were always capable of creating, transform pain into power. Pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is optional, and understanding this distinction is where transformation begins. A victim allows pain to consume their heart, to cloud their mind, and to diminish their spirit. But a warrior sees pain as a tool, a fire that tempers the soul and refines character. Every tear, every setback, every moment of despair is an opportunity to grow stronger, to develop a depth of understanding, and to cultivate resilience. Pain becomes the teacher, and those willing to learn its lessons discover that it holds the blueprint for their strength, for their courage, and for their eventual triumphs. The process of transforming pain into power requires honesty and courage. It is not about pretending that wounds do not exist or that hardships were fair. It is about recognizing that life's blows are shaping you into a version of yourself you may not have met yet. When you refuse to let pain dictate your future, you create a space for empowerment, for vision, and for unshakable determination. Every challenge becomes a spark, igniting the flame of your inner strength. The warrior understands that each moment of suffering carries within it the seeds of transformation, And with patience and perseverance, those seeds grow into an unstoppable force. Pain also teaches the value of empathy, humility, and perspective. When you have experienced the depths of hardship, you gain insight into the struggles of others, and your heart expands beyond fear and resentment. Transforming pain into power is about taking the raw, unrefined experiences of your life and channeling them into action, into growth, and into wisdom. It is about refusing to remain small, refusing to be defined by hurt, and choosing instead to use every wound as a stepping stone toward the life you deserve. In that transformation, you discover a courage you never knew existed, a power that cannot be taken away, and a voice that refuses to be silenced. Finally, embracing your pain as power allows you to reclaim control over your life. The victim feels trapped by circumstances, believing that suffering is permanent, but the warrior knows that strength is forged in adversity. Every setback, loss, or heartbreak becomes a lesson in resilience. Every struggle, a test of character, and every tear, a declaration that you will rise. Transforming pain into power is not about erasing the scars, but about wearing them with pride, letting them remind you of the battles you have survived and the victories that await. In this transformation, you are no longer broken, you are unstoppable. Refuse to play small victims, live in the shadows of their own potential, shrinking from challenges and dimming their light to avoid attention or failure. The warrior, however, refuses to accept limitations imposed by fear, doubt, or circumstance. Playing big is not a matter of arrogance, it is an act of courage, a declaration that your life has value, purpose, and meaning. Each time you push beyond comfort, you expand your capacity, open doors to opportunities, and awaken possibilities that were previously invisible. Refusing to play small is about believing in yourself when no one else does and refusing to settle for less than you were created to achieve. Choosing not to play small requires breaking free from internal and external restrictions. Society, culture, or even close relationships may try to confine you to certain expectations or roles. The victim accepts these boundaries as truth. The warrior challenges them relentlessly. By stepping into your power, by daring to act boldly, and by embracing your capabilities, you redefine what is possible in your life. Every time you challenge the voice that says you cannot, you strengthen the warrior within and create momentum toward achievements that once seemed unattainable. Playing big also demands embracing failure as a necessary part of growth. Victims fear failure because it threatens their sense of security, their identity, and their ego. Warriors, however, see failure as feedback, as an essential part of progress, and as an opportunity to rise stronger and wiser. Each attempt to stretch beyond limits builds confidence, resilience, and self-mastery. Refusing to play small is about daring to dream audaciously, acting courageously, and taking risks, even when the path is uncertain, because you recognize that growth and comfort cannot coexist. Ultimately, refusing to play small is about claiming your worth unapologetically. It is about recognizing that your voice, your ideas, and your dreams matter. The warrior understands that settling for less diminishes their potential, while living boldly amplifies it. To refuse to play small is to honor your life, your journey, and your inner strength. It is the daily commitment to rise, to act, and to shine, even when the world tries to convince you that you are not enough. Surround yourself with strength, not sympathy. Victims often seek comfort in pity, lingering in environments that echo their insecurities and validate their fears. Warriors, however, understand that growth requires energy, courage, and influence. The people around you shape your mindset, your decisions, and your actions. Surrounding yourself with strength, with those who inspire, challenge, and uplift, creates a foundation for transformation. When you choose your tribe wisely, you are no longer defined by weakness or limitation, but by possibility and empowerment. Every relationship becomes either a ladder toward your potential or a chain that holds you back. Choosing strength over sympathy is also a matter of self-respect. Victims may gravitate toward those who constantly console them, reinforcing feelings of helplessness. Warriors, on the other hand, Cultivate relationships that demand accountability, encourage persistence, and celebrate progress. Surrounding yourself with strength is about creating an environment that fuels your courage and fosters your growth. It requires discernment, honesty, and sometimes letting go of people who no longer serve your journey. Each connection should inspire you to rise higher, act boldly, and embrace your inner power. The company you keep also influences your vision of yourself. When you are surrounded by individuals who embody courage, resilience, and integrity, you begin to absorb those qualities naturally. Strength begets strength, courage inspires courage, and determination multiplies in the right environment. Victims see this as unattainable, but warriors understand that who you allow into your life can either elevate or diminish your potential. Each day, you choose the people who challenge you to grow. You step closer to the life of impact, freedom, and purpose you were meant to live. Finally, surrounding yourself with strength means embracing accountability and rejecting excuses. Sympathy allows stagnation, strength demands action. A warrior circle does not coddle weakness but celebrates effort, encourages perseverance, and honors progress. It is not about seeking approval, but about seeking growth. With each supportive, challenging, and empowering connection, you reinforce the warrior within, cultivate resilience, and ensure that your transformation from victim to warrior is unstoppable. Commit to relentless action. Transformation is impossible without action, yet many remain trapped in the comfort of inaction. Victims wait for circumstances to change, for opportunities to appear, for fear to vanish, but warriors understand that life rewards movement, persistence, and courage. Action is the bridge between desire and achievement, the weapon against despair, and the proof that you refuse to be defeated by circumstance. Every small step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is a declaration of intent, a signal to the world that you are no longer a victim, and a reminder to yourself of the power you possess. Relentless action requires discipline, focus, and courage to continue even when progress is invisible. Victims often quit at the first sign of difficulty, allowing fear, doubt, or exhaustion to dictate their choices. Warriors, however, understand that momentum is built through consistent effort, patience, and determination. Each day becomes an opportunity to push boundaries, to overcome obstacles, and to expand your capacity for resilience. Relentless action transforms hope into reality, ideas into achievements, and potential into mastery, forging a life that is defined by courage, commitment, and purpose. Action is also a means of reclaiming control over your narrative. When victims remain passive, circumstances dominate their lives, dictating emotions, decisions, and outcomes. The warrior, by committing to relentless action, reclaims agency and power. Each effort to rise, to try again, to face fear, to work diligently, and to embrace challenges is a refusal to be defeated. Every action, no matter how small, compounds into results, progress, and momentum, gradually dismantling the limitations that once held you hostage and proving that resilience is forged in persistence, not in waiting. Finally, committing to relentless action is a commitment to life itself. It is the understanding that time will pass whether you act or hesitate, and that courage is measured by your willingness to show up again and again for yourself. Each moment you choose movement over stagnation, courage over fear, and effort over surrender, you strengthen the warrior within. Through relentless action, you transform dreams into reality, obstacles into triumphs, and the victim within into a force that the world cannot ignore. In the end, the journey from victim to warrior is not a path of luck, comfort, or waiting for the world to change. It is a journey of courage, choice, and relentless action. Every moment you refuse to let pain define you, every time you own your story, and every step you take toward growth is a declaration of your strength. You are not defined by the hardships you have faced, but by the resilience you cultivate, the risks you dare to take, and the power you awaken within yourself. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you have survived, endured, and now stand ready to rise higher than ever before. A warrior does not wait for permission, approval, or ease. They rise despite fear, doubt, and challenge. You have the strength to transform pain into power, to surround yourself with those who uplift and challenge you, and to act relentlessly toward the life you dream of. Today, you are invited to step into your courage, to embrace your story, and to rise beyond victimhood. The warrior within you has always existed. It is time to let them lead, to walk boldly, and to claim the life you were always meant to live.